Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I am your host, Anthony Irvin. Hope you guys are doing very well tonight. Hey Sabrina, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're having another great Thursday out there. If you guys are watching, make sure you guys are leaving a comment in the comment section, letting us know that you are here. And I have a very wonderful guest with us this week. He is a local friend of mine. I want to gladly introduce you guys to this week's Table Talk special guest, Frank Bisciotti.
Hey, Anthony.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. It's a long time no see, huh?
Long time no see within 24 hours.
Yeah, virtually. Yeah, we were hanging out last night on Delco After Dark, which is a podcast that I've been hanging out on, over quarantine. Got nothing better to do, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, if you guys didn't check it out last night, if you guys want to go back and check out the Delco After Dark live stream page, you can check that out on Facebook. I was with Frank and Mark and Carl last night. We had a good time, couple laughs and couple trips back on memory lane going, talking about some Delco memories. It was pretty cool. So speaking of, I was talking about this with Frank last night, that we had our mutual friend Tom Curtis on the show here a couple weeks back, and so this is like Delco Part 2 for the night.
Yeah, man.
So,
Love Tom. Shout out to Tommy.
yeah, shout out to Tom. So Frank, why don't you give the audience a little background, say who you are?
Sure. I'm Frank Bisciotti. I'm born and raised in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. I'm actually grew up in media, living here, streaming at you live from Drexel Hill. I call it Drexel Chill, Pennsylvania. And, I was a musician pretty much my whole entire life. I learned how to play violin at a very young age. I started Suzuki method violin about 3 years old, played for about 15 years. And, there came a point where the violin was no longer cool, so I played a few other instruments, piano, saxophone, but the guitar really spoke to me, and that's about when I was 14. I picked that my first electric guitar up, and it's been like that way ever since. I've been a songwriter actively since about 2001. I have a debut EP, my Now EP. It's available everywhere. Released that back in 2016. That's a collection of about 5 songs, all acoustic. I wrote them 2002 to 2012, so from about a decade of my life. And
Very nice.
Yeah, happy to have that. Got that done before I was 30 years old, so that was a goal of mine to get that knocked out. Get those songs on tape. And maybe you'll hear a few of them later tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Where did you actually record that EP?
So the Now EP was recorded at Studio 1311, and that's produced by Greg Brady. And, that was when it was under Hunt's Annex, which is 1311 McDade Avenue, or McDade Boulevard, I should say. And now he's out in Glen Mills on Smithbridge Road. So shout out to Greg.
There you go. Very, very nice. So I just wanted to let people know, again, if you guys are sharing this out, definitely feel free. And when you guys are sharing this out, make sure you're using that hashtag Table Talk. Here we go. Yeah, make sure you're sharing this broadcast using that hashtag Table Talk when you're doing that, letting people know that we are here. Table Talk is a show where us musicians get to hang out together for a considerable amount of time, just reminiscing, and just one of those times that me and Frank actually go way back, and we'll probably like we did last night, go off on a couple tangents on the coffee house days, and so we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of where we originally met. Maybe 10 or 15 years ago. I was running a coffee shop throughout my high school and college years. I was also teaching guitar lessons, but we used the coffee shop as an open mic on Friday nights. Became pretty popular. It ran for almost a decade, and then Saturday nights we would have bands, a lot of local bands. I think Original Sins was there.
Yes.
Some other of your
we
acts.
Made a couple of our debuts there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blue Sun and all the guys there. Shout out to those guys. And
yeah. I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out most of those nights.
No, that was that was the beginnings of our of our musical career in a sense, and that was just a magical time. You can't go back in a time machine, not yet.
it was good
But
times. I felt there was so much more. Not that there isn't there's not a lot of music right now, but I feel like the younger guys that are coming up in high school and out of high school now, like you don't see many bands coming out of high school anymore, or even like singer-songwriters, or at least we don't really keep in contact, if anything. I know we don't do too much booking ourselves. We're just booking our own shows right now.
yeah, it's interesting how we're like I don't know about you, but I think an exennial. So like I have a lot of old school traits, analog, so that's why I still play the acoustic guitar. A lot of the kids are, a lot of the kids these days are making a lot of electronic music, and
Yeah.
no, I still love hearing acoustic guitar. I think it's interesting to take an inanimate object and to make it sing. It's like
Exactly. So you were saying earlier that you started out as on the piano, or was it more of
Violin was my first instrument. So
violin?
my
Okay.
mom got me a quarter-sized rental from Zaff's Music, and I picked up the Suzuki #1 book, which was like, you learn how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star about 50 different ways and different
Yeah.
polyrhythms. And I took lessons at Darlington Fine Arts Center. Shout out to those guys. I used to take ballet lessons there, believe it or not, too.
Hey, I used to be a gymnastics person, so we
Yeah.
all have our little things that we are like, hey, I mean, it happened. I'm not not ashamed to say it.
Yeah. I mean, things happen. Exactly. All the athletes used ballet, for their
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Shout out to Mike in the comment section. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So you started with the violin and piano, and so what made you start taking up the guitar, either if it was acoustic or electric? What made you really start getting into that?
Yeah, I picked up the electric first. I had a Squire Strat, and of course the other kids were doing it. That was a cool thing to do at the time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But
Definitely.
I was listening to a lot of Y100. I was getting into like Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, so I was learning a little bit of that, and that's kind of how I learned how to play guitar. I took a few guitar lessons in the beginning of my career, and learned the classics. Learned how to play a little Wind Cries Mary, and learned how to play Stairway to Heaven and all the classics
There you
like
go.
that. But eventually. After you learn a bunch of songs, you're a creative type. Songs start coming to you. You start putting the chords and the words together, and that's where the creativity thrives. That's where you can have a lot of fun. And I haven't written anything in a while, but I feel like the stuff that I've written, the stuff that I put out, is a very good representation of my music and everything else that's going on in my life. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have a music family background, or are you kind of the only one in your family that plays music?
Not entirely. No, I have a half sister. She got a partial vocal scholarship for for voice, obviously, but
Very
sacred
nice.
art. And then my brother John Paul, he's an upright bassist, classically trained. He got a partial stipend at Lafayette. But my dad played the accordion for a little bit. My mom played the piano for maybe a few years. We had the piano at home always. But I can play anything with strings in it. I have an ear that's pretty darn good, that's trained. I've been training it
Very
my whole
nice.
entire life. And I don't really read music too well, but I can, if you play it to me, I can probably play it back to you pretty quickly.
That's kind of how I am too. Like I started doing the drums in school, and I knew a little bit of like the drum music, but I could never really read guitar music unless you didn't have unless the chords were on top of the little notations. I didn't really know
Tablature's
what-
fun, yeah.
Yeah, and tablature is pretty much like for dummies for music writing is, but
Yeah, it's more symbolic, and that's kind of how I think. And I mean, tablature I can read, but not
But
really
yeah.
fast. Yeah.
Right, but that's how at least for me, that's how I learned a lot of my first couple songs. Just kind of going on the internet, and you pick your favorite song. You're like, okay, which one do I want to learn today? And then you just pick it up from there, and then you just get frustrated because you don't sound like the original.
Yeah, man. Well, I
And it's a
mean,
vicious
that's the one.
circle.
That's the one thing. You either have to have somebody there that can listen to you, that can give you notes. I always had a good, voice instructor, Michelle Offerman, over at Springfield Swarthmore Music Studios,
Right,
and
right.
she's always giving me the right input. She takes a lesson from somebody that she pays that person 4 times the amount an hour that I pay her, and then I just sit in and learn a few things, and you just kind of fine tune everything. You just get better and better and better over quarantine. Even I feel like these past 3 months, I've seen a little. I mean, I thought I hit a plateau, but people are saying that I sound better. So I guess there's never really a plateau.
Yeah, exactly, and that makes you, want to do better, and it keeps you going in the way. Just, because there's times where even I'm like, I know I have my off nights, but then I'll get that one person like, yeah, you did really good. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I didn't do as bad as I thought.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So moving on, why don't we get you to do the first song of the night,
Nice.
and you can get set up there.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, again, guys, really appreciate you guys being here. You guys are watching Table Talk with me as your host, Anthony Irvin, and we got the very talented Frank Bisciotti in here. And before you start the song, I actually wanted to say that you have almost like a nickname, Frankie Biscuits.
Yeah, that's what
Why
my
don't you-
Metagon friends call me. Frank Biscotti, like you have a very smart marketing sense. You were talking about last night on Delco After Dark how you're using Spoken Life as your name
Right.
because you thought Anthony wasn't as good of your name wasn't as good of a marketing,
Yeah.
tool. But same thing with my name. Frank Biscotti is a little hard to spell, especially if you don't spell exactly like the cookie.
Yeah.
But some of the nicknames I use are Frankie Biscuits, and you can still you Google me, you'll find either way you'll find me. So
There you go. There you go. So what are you gonna play for us?
yeah, I'm going to play you the first track off of from the Now EP, which is Far From the Routine. This is the one that gets a little radio play on Mark Rogers' Hometown Heroes, and this was a song that I wrote back in about 2002, man. So this song is about almost 20 years old, but it's I think it stand the test of time pretty well. This is one of those angsty teenage kind of a rock song. I did an acoustic on the album, but eventually I'll maybe release an LP with some full band on there. So
There you go. Oldies but goodies. Always
man.
good.
all right, so this is Far From the Routine. Let me take off the headphones. I've got a fear about being ordinary. What's the deal and why is it so scary? Oh, this anxiety, it's so perplexing, and it's vexed me, and I can't sleep. I think about it, my thoughts get blurred, so I imbibe, my words get slurred. No one is there or around to guide. I can't confide, so I just hide away, away from all the things you've seen. Away, away from all the things you've dreamed. Get up and away, away from all the things you've seen. Away, away from all the things they've been, far from the routine. What's to do? Why am I apprehensive? My qualms are biting, they're so extensive. And I wanna lay back, just wanna chill, but I can't calm down and I won't be still. I wanna know why I just can't take waiting. These brainless things I'm always contemplating. There's no words in my story's book, so I move on and I try to look away, away from all the things you've seen. Away, away from all the things you've dreamed. Get up and away, away from what don't make the grade. Away, away from all the things they fade, far from the routine. Far from the routine.
Woo.
Woo!
Very
Thank you,
nice.
sir.
Very nice. Very nice. That's definitely one of my favorites by you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I love the little main riff in that. It kind of reminds me of like old John Mayer, like the acoustic styles of John Mayer. That little
Yeah, I
style.
kind of
It's
stole
cool.
that from Why Georgia. I won't really say I stole it, but
Yeah,
you know,
there you go. Yeah,
there's
it kind of
suspensions in there that are similar to Why Georgia. And yeah, Room for
yeah.
Squares was kind of the reason. I started listening to John Mayer when I downloaded Kazaa and all that stuff off of LimeWire.
Yeah.
And I got a discography, and I found some stuff that was like even his earlier stuff that really inspired me. So yeah, that's kind of
Uh-huh.
why I have why I have a Fender Strat, and I also have the Martin as well. So, but yeah, Room
Yeah.
for Square is a big part of my early songwriting career for
And
sure.
I know you play a lot of songs off the Roots for Squares
Oh yeah,
album
yeah.
too.
I play yeah about 4 or 5 of them. Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely. I think I knew of John Mayer, but I didn't get into actually really listening to him until Continuum. Continuum was definitely, and I think a lot of people can agree, Continuum was like the thing that just made him just burst off
That
to
was the big one. Yeah,
stardom.
that was the big. Yeah.
I can
I,
listen to that just like front and back, and everything is just perfect on that.
And that's kind of where I stopped listening to John, believe it or not. I loved Inside Loves Out, and I loved Room for Squares. And there might have been one other after that, but yeah, kind of went off in a different direction from that. Like, yeah, he started to turn me off by some of the things he was doing in his personal life, and that was leaking
Yeah,
publicly. So it was just like, I was like, oh, he's a good musician and all, but let's continue there's plenty of other music out there.
right. Yeah, let's just move on to the next one. I think I
Yep.
felt the same. I mean, I did Continuum, and I think his next one was Born and Raised. I think, and I don't even think I listened to too much of that. I think he had 2 or 3 albums after Continuum, but I started getting back into listening to him within the last year or two when he just released his newest album, Search for Everything. So that's also a good album. Has a couple good tracks on there too.
Gotcha. None of these names are familiar to me. I mean, a lot of my musical taste is from, like I said, like around the '90s. So a lot of grunge rock. Listening to
Yeah,
Y100 growing up. I listened to a lot of Weezer, a lot of Cake, a lot of
yeah,
Red Hot Chili Peppers, and things like that. So yeah, a lot of my music is that a little bit of classic rock. And then yeah, I'm all over the place. I like songwriters. I like Jim Croce is one of my favorites. He's a Delaware County guy, Chester native. Cat Stevens is another one. I've been compared to Cat frequently. So
very
I guess
nice.
in my style, Jason Mraz is even another one that I've been compared to, like my wordplay. Some of my songs, people have compared to Jason Mraz and how I
Yeah.
think he has a song called World Wordplay. But yeah, those are kind of, in a nutshell, I guess that's kind of my tastes and my backgrounds in music. But growing up, yeah, my dad had a huge record collection as well. So 10,000 albums and a lot of Frank Sinatra, a lot of Barbra Streisand, a lot of, yeah, like I was saying, a lot of the Jim Croce stuff, the Beatles and everything else, Chicago. I mean, yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah, Beatles definitely took up a lot of my growing up. Like Beatles and Hendrix, and a lot of the guitar dudes were a lot of the people that my dad brought me up with. It was definitely a guitar-esque type of growing up for me, and
for sure.
especially when you were talking about Weezer and the whole grunge scene in the '90s. I didn't get too much into the grunge scene. I mean, I liked your typical, Nirvana and all those guys, but I think I was especially going with Original Sins. We were all like metalheads, so we we were more drawn to like the Metallicas and the Iron Maiden
And the
guys.
riffs, yeah.
Yeah, just the fast in your face riffs and everything, which we thought we could play, but never could do it.
Yeah, that's
But
the
we,
interesting thing about grunge. It's like more about, the sound and the tone, and the musicality is kind of secondary. It's like more of
yeah,
it's kind of like really sloppy in a sense of music, but it's like I was listening to some Meat Puppets yesterday, like you were saying, Nirvana. Man, yeah, I love me a good '90s playlist. Bring it on, guys.
Yeah, and it can really, I'm sure you can probably agree, Frank, that it really just depends on the day for me. Like I can, listen to Hendrix for a couple days, something either like really, guitar-esque groovy, and then I can, get into something more chill, like acoustic style. And then there's a couple days where I'm like, I just want, listen to the heaviest music ever.
Yeah.
Not even just because I'm in like a bad mood or like just like I need something
Oop.
a little more feel in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I go all over the place, man. I like '90s rap. Even I like
Yeah.
even some of the newer guys. I'm not big on Post Malone, but I do like G-Eazy. I feel like he's a pretty solid
I
lyricist.
I've listened to a little bit of Jeezy. I'm growing on Post Malone. I think even I'm not sure. Did you see his concert, the Nirvana concert that he did a couple months back?
I have not, no, so I guess I should have to go back and YouTube that
It's
maybe.
actually he actually did it justice. I was scared to watch it after you
I've
kind
seen
of
him
heard.
play the guitar, but like, yeah, I mean, I see him as kind of more of a puppet, face tattoos and just kind of
Yeah, I mean,
filling in doing what he can to fill in the void and stand out a little bit.
yeah, and I think that's just with today's music. I mean, not that talent is. I think in a way sometimes talent can be second towards like because like especially with today, I mean, if you're a marketable person, if you already have a fan base, depending on if you have talent or not, you're gonna get that top spot. I mean, I think talent back then was something that you definitely needed before actually having that fan base, because people were more willing to take a chance on you if they knew you had talent. They're like, okay, I know this kid or person can make it. Where it's like today, like, oh well, this guy has 1 million followers and he's just working by himself. How much money do you think he can make us?
Yeah, yeah, and it's now with all these different mediums, it's easier to find the talent, and it's
Yeah.
easier for people to learn how to play. I mean, there's the educational tool of using those videos to learn how to play, which a lot of people do, and so you see a little bit of that on the rise. But yeah, I see a lot of this trend towards like I'm saying, the electronic music, and not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just like not my cup of tea. Like I know enough about computers that I know you can probably make a software program, put a couple things in there, and the song will pretty much AI itself, and like that doesn't
Yeah.
really. I want to be able to take something that's in my head, be able to compute it to that instrument, and then record, put some stuff together, write it, and then send it into the recording device that I'm using. And it's a lot of steps, but like if you get it right, man, it feels good. It feels great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna get ready to sing something. I think I forgot to grab my capo. I gotta look and see if this is behind me.
Uh-oh.
So that's like 3 or 4 songs that I can't really play right now, unless I just play them in a different way. That I probably can't figure that out right now. So I'm just gonna be probably playing a couple songs that I don't need a capo for now.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably gonna get the lyrics. 'Cause I'm horrible. I've been having a bad time of forgetting my own song lyrics. I'm not sure if
Whoa.
it's so. I might not even worry about that because we'll just wing it and see. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's usually I usually get the first and second verse and I flip them sometimes.
Oh,
Uh,
dude, everything you're saying is everything I do. Yeah, Hotel California, I do the third and second sweat, and yeah, you lose the linear song progression. You lose the story.
exactly. All right, so I think I'm gonna play one of my more chiller songs to. So this is a song called "Lonely Soul." For those who may have heard this before, this is my interpretation of a ghost type of tune that I always hear people doing ghost writing about ghosts, that it can be they're always either haunting somebody or doing something in a negative way. And I flip that into my positive ways of thinking, well, why can't ghosts kind of just be asking for help, instead of like they're not necessarily trying to hurt somebody, they're just constantly knocking on that door to say, hey, I need help, like, or to find my way home, or somewhat. So this is my interpretation of that type of song. All right. I hear your footsteps on the floorboards above, just like cellophane, you just keep clinging to me. Is your purpose for your presence tonight? The night air breathes out your silent screams. I'm just trying to find myself out of this dream. Need my guidance, 'cause even the lonely souls need help finding their way back home. There's a ghost in my presence, and I'm not sure if he's here to send me a sign, or simply haunt my nightly pleasant dreams. You're still calling and I don't know how to cope with these sleepless nights of wondering why you need my help. So love you're after, fear you're seeking. Your echoes wake me like a storm in the night. I think I've finally had it with the selfish cries. Yeah, I see it now. You were lost and now you're found. There's a ghost in my presence, and now I'm sure he's found his way back into the light. And I can finally sleep at peace, when I've saved a lonely soul. Now I can finally sleep at peace, when I've saved a lonely soul. The lonely souls need help finding their way back home. There you go. Thank you.
Sound of two hands clapping over here. Yeah, a lot of that, no clapping stuff over this virtual time. It's kind of a weird sensation to not have a real live audience,
I was gonna say, how did it feel? Because you just had your first gig back since March. What was it, last Friday?
Yeah, man. First gig
So,
IRL in real life. Yeah, man.
So how did that feel to have like a real reaction after that first song?
It was so weird. It was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Cause you're so
You're not used to
being
it.
quiet, and then now it's you go out and then you're like, okay, hearing the actual people's voices and you're getting reactions, so it's gonna
Up
be
and
awesome.
heckling and all of it, but it's great. As long as people keep their distance from me and don't try to shake my hand, I appreciate.
Yeah, exactly.
The sentiment, my tip jar is like 6 feet in front of me over there.
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing too. I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying that they're just trying to do the same thing to what they're doing online is, instead of just doing a tip jar, to just do something virtual with that too. Like just have like a QR code or something that people can just, scan and they just go right to your virtual cards too. So that's something that eventually, hopefully when I get out there again, that I might also take advantage of that part too. Like have the tip jar out there for people that, want to do that. I'll have that decently far away from me. But have that option of like, if people want to, not come up, and if they just want to keep their distance, they can equally just, have a QR code that they can just scan and bam, right there.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not big on the QR codes because I wouldn't want to subject to someone to having their data leached out like that. But for the
Right.
ease of use, I mean, if they really want, they can find me on Venmo or PayPal or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that terrible, but I mean, if they really want to, they will. It's not gonna
Yeah.
I think that one little step isn't gonna make them give me their hard on dollars any faster,
Right.
But you never know. Yeah, everything you got to make it easy for the audience over there. Yeah. What's up, guys? How you
Exactly.
doing out there?
How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, so you guys are, if you guys are just tuning in, you are watching Table Talk with your host is me, Anthony Irvin, and I have my special guest here, Frank Bisciotti.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Long time no see. Yeah.
It's been great. So, trying to think of anything that we haven't. Is there anything else? Like, what are you musically up to right now? I know you have your EP that you've been kind of promoting for the last couple of years, but do you have anything in the future you're thinking about music wise right now? Or?
Yeah, so I'm going to rewrite a few more songs. I haven't really completed anything yet, in terms of songs or recordings. But the idea is to kind of take write five more really good songs, take the five that maybe I wrote on the EP and turn it into an LP with a full band.
Cool.
But
Cool.
yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like I said, maybe back in 2015, 16 when I was putting this album together, and now maybe I just write 10 more ones and make it completely fresh. I'm not exactly sure, but again, I haven't really written anything, so it's like a whole big speculation at this point, anyway. So.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Like, there's a couple songs off my first two EPs that I'm like, yeah, I probably could have done a little bit more time on that writing, or I mean, knowing that with the recording styles and techniques that I know now, I could have done those songs and recorded them a lot better. So that's been something I've been thinking about doing, is just kind of re-recording some of those tunes and then actually putting them, having a better recording, taking them, actually getting them on iTunes or Spotify, because I would never want to put them on Spotify or iTunes right now with the way that they sound. And
Sure.
not that I'm not the best singer in the world, but I feel when I was just starting out, I listened back to those tracks, I'm like, ugh, kind of like. But now I feel like I've had a couple years under my belt of actually singing to myself, and I feel my voice has come to playing. I've found my voice a little bit better.
Yeah, maturity.
So,
It's all in time. Yeah, I remember how I used to sound. Like my family used to call me Kermit the Frog. Like I used to have a little thin. Like how I remember Rainbow Connection by Kermit.
Right.
But
believe in rainbows.
sometimes I will do that at karaoke and freak some people out. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You grow into your voice, you grow into your sound, and like all things, hopefully things progress and you get, you improve. Hopefully the curve goes up and not down.
Right. So I know you did a couple. You used to host a couple open mics back then. Do you have any plans of eventually, when we start getting back to some type of a normal, of doing some more open mic nights for yourself, hosting a couple? Or
Yeah, I've been in discussions with a few people on a few different things. I mean, it would have to be the right situation for what's going on right now, or Anthony, with the bars going back down on their capacity.
Yeah,
This morning,
shame.
last night,
Yeah.
it's like we're kind of going in the reverse order again. I would love to start thinking about it, but yeah, I don't really want to do anything indoors. I want to do it outdoors. It would have to be
Yeah.
the right situation, the right scenario. But yeah, that's why you really haven't seen we haven't been pulling the trigger on anything yet, because it's just times are so uncertain right now. It's a shame, but yeah, hopefully you'll see me at a few live gigs here and there, every couple of weeks. Maybe I'll be back out La Porta, DeFabio's, all the places that you normally see me, O'Connell's, the former Duke's Tavern. It's just, I do my little Delco run of venues, but
Right. So yeah, if anybody's watching and seeing Frank for the first time, and you guys are digging some of his songs, I'm going to get him to play another song here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But make sure to follow Frank on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can find them all there, and you can go right to his official website at frankbisciotti.com. Make sure to show him some love. And also, if you guys like what you hear tonight, feel free. You can leave your tips at paypal.me/spokenlife, or at Venmo at Spoken Life Music. Me and Frank will be splitting tips tonight.
Nice.
So they are never expected, but always appreciated,
Yeah.
especially in these times that we are in.
For sure.
But yeah, so Frank, how about we get you to do another song,
Yeah.
and then maybe we can. I'll get another song in here. Maybe we'll do another because usually, I mean, we're running good on time, so maybe we can get another song in each, and then I think there's a thing we were talking about before we went live that I think we might want to do a good discussion on something. I think we might get some good discussion on this.
Yeah, we might do a little segment here.
Yeah, a little segment, probably in between or after these next two songs here.
For sure. Yeah, so I'm going to play you the title track on the EP. This is the one that I wrote in a songwriting competition. NBC 10 had it on their news. It was like, send us your original songs back in 2008 or 9. You know, this is probably early 2009, maybe February or March. And yeah, so I sent them a video that, it was an original song. It probably wasn't the best video, but sent it to them anyway. Like I said, we were doing the coffee club. We had, I was recording all the acts and myself, so I had plenty of canned footage. And yeah, so this was a song that I wrote actually watching the news one night. I sent it to the news they had a television show in the morning called The 10 Show, and it was hosted by Bill Henley and Aditi Roy. And yeah, so this song made their first songwriting competition. It was called Singing Sensations. It was at Six Flags in Jackson, New Jersey.
I was going to say that's when you played at Six Flags, right?
Yeah, it was the whole summer. So there was 150 people that submitted. Not that many submissions, you know.
Wow.
And 30 made it. I was in the 30 that went
Very
to
nice.
Jackson, New Jersey, Six Flags. They had a stage set up right by I don't know if it was by King the Cobb, but that's like the big roller coaster over there.
Yeah.
And they had the judges were Helen Light from XPN, Kevin Haggins, who's an R&B producer, Philly-based. He produced Aaliyah and some other notable,
nice.
Philly-based R&B artists. And
Awesome.
I can't remember the third guy's name, but he wrote all of the Walmart jingles. So that was his thing.
He's a little famous, a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely musical, definitely an artistic type. And they pretty much all told me, Helen, Kevin, and the other guy, they said, you need a band. So he showed up with the band on the remaining portion. I had my own vignette where Bill Henley came over my house and interviewed me in the living room, and then we played at Monument Road on the Bala Kenwood Studios, like on the show. And
awesome.
there's a video. There's a link on my on the homepage of my website to that video. You can check it out. But yeah, this is the song that made it all the way in. I was a finalist on NBC 10's Singing Sensations. I did it for about 6 more years after that until the 10 show went away. But this is called Now. Take my headphones off. It's always better because they're noise canceling. Been hearing the news, and all I can do is lie here awake, alone in my bed, trying to find the reason for it, but nothing ever seems to make sense to me. This is senseless, offensive, I can't bear to ignore it. Don't want to stand here and say that I'm for it. All I'm really trying to do, and all I'm really trying to say, and what I'm really trying to prove is that this epidemic really needs to go away. So put down your arms and hold your hands up high. We need to act now, all methods justified. We can work for a cause if everyone helps out, but we need to act now. That's what it's all about. Our cities in shambles are loading their clips, and packing up magazines by the handfuls. The police can't predict the bloodshed, so instead we embed them into the streets while they be stead in hope for release to decease. It's pain undoing. Witnesses aren't the ones that do the cluing. All I'm really trying to do, and all I'm really trying to say, and what I'm really trying to prove, is that we need to make amends and not just run away. So put down your arms and hold your hands up high. We need to act now, all methods justified. We can work for a cause if everyone helps out, but we need to act now. That's what it's all about. We can work for a cause if everyone helps out, but we need to act now. That's what I'm talking about. Woo.
Very nice.
Thanks, guys.
Very nice. Awesome.
Yeah, put my headphones back on. Now I'm back.
There you go. So, what was the inspiration behind that song? If you,
So I was taking a class at Westchester University. It was called Urban Studies, and we discussed a lot of different urban climates. Specifically, Philadelphia was one of them. Of course, had to talk about the big major metropolitan city by you. That's so fascinating, And we talked about how there were telephone poles with microphones built into them, and the microphones built a heat map. It's essentially, you could go online and see where the most prevalent gunshots were fired, and that, that was like, whoa, that was mind-boggling to me. This is like that type of technology. It was like the beginning of it, but I think that was probably about 2007 or 8 when I was there. And so, yeah, when I wrote this song, it was, I was sitting at home watching the news in bed, about to fall asleep, and the song fell out. And I was like, oh, crap, I got to get out of bed.
Yeah.
I got to get the book out,
Love those moments.
Get the pen out. And yeah, I mean, the good thing, the tune was already there. I just had to write the lyrics. So I wrote most of the lyrics that night, and woke up the next morning, and that's the way you know if it's a good song, if you remember it the next morning when you wake up and you didn't record it, And so I was like, okay, yeah. So that song stuck, and finished it up, and so I've been playing it ever since. That's a lot of people call that my anthem. They call that the Philadelphia song, but you can relate that. I mean, the theme of the song is just acting now. Identify the issue and create a plan of action to make a solution. And it's something that can be applied to a lot of things that are going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like, as time goes on, the more timeless that song is. And, I think that's the name of the game. Try to write some songs that are just timeless, that will stand the test of time, so that, like, if I'm not here anymore, the songs live on. If I can't be here, the song will live,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that kind of, brings me into my next question for you. And if you guys have any questions for Frank tonight, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and we will be answering them. If you have them for Frank or me or something we can both answer, feel free and leave a comment. But, on a songwriting level, Frank, when you're, in that songwriting mode, how does, a song come to you? Are you usually like a instrument person first, or lyrics, or does it just kind of,
usually the melody and the music come first. The lyrics there are certain word tracks in those lyrics will pop out into the song, and I'll have them kind of bottled away, but I always save the lyrics for last, because I can, if I'm putting together a song, I want to think of what it's going to sound like, and the first thing that I think about when I'm listening to anything, when I'm listening to put a CD in, put a record on, is, the music itself, the melody, the tune. The lyrics are something I think that comes secondary. I think people will listen to the melody of the lyrics before they'll listen to the actual words of it. And a lot of times I don't hear the actual lyrics until I listen to it for the second time. So right. That's the way that's my priority list in terms of Frank's Songwriting 101. But I think you're the same way. We were kind of talking about this last night on Delco After Dark, but you're kind of a music and then
Yeah, lyrics don't usually come to me as easy as music. I can just sit down with, a guitar and like depending on what type of vibe I'm in, like depending on who I've been listening to, something will just come and then I either have to record it or record it on my phone because I'll forget it, just like
For sure.
anybody. And usually I gotta be, unless I have some type of melody and I record that, then I can, finagle some type of words around it. But if I don't have a melody it's kind of hard for me to kind of just think of words, and lyrics have never been like my strong suit, so I'm trying to be
Yeah,
that
it's like
much
one of
better
the
with
things
them.
that not overthink the lyrics. Like even just writing
Yeah.
down the stuff that comes to your mind that fits the spots, even if it's like
Yes.
watermelon, vegetables, and all these different
As long
mono.
as it has the same syllable,
Yeah,
you can at least
exactly.
put that, and then you can always change it later because okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
at least it's something similar with people that lyrics don't know. It's the same difference for some people. I've had people that they're like a what is the right term, lyricologist, or that they are
poets,
always poets
the
pretty much.
poets of the world.
So they're just constantly writing, but then when it comes to like music, there's like I mean I don't know either where to start, where do I want to, how do I want to feel it, where like you and me, we can just have a whole instrumental and then all we have to do is just put lyrics to it.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, music's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah, and songwriting's so funny, man. It comes to the at the weirdest time. Like I said, that once, like I wrote Now, and it was like probably two of the songs like that I wrote, on my way into dreamland. You get in that
Yeah,
into that state of mind, and it's like, as you're relaxed, it's easier. It flows.
exactly. Like how you were saying, like all of a sudden it just came to you. I have somewhat of a also funny story with that. I was helping my mom, and me and my wife were helping my mom with a trade show that she was going to, and I was helping her bring in all her stuff, and all of a sudden just something came up and just popped in my head. I'm like, I got to write this down, or I got to record it somehow. And I'm trying. They're like, well, we need you to help like bring this stuff in. I'm like, but you don't understand. If I don't record or if I don't put this in my phone, I'm gonna forget it. So I literally had to take like 5 minutes, just like hum the melody and just like write down, okay, I have this in my head and that. So it's like one of those things, like how you said it can just come to you like that, and you're like, okay, if you don't put it in your phone or have some type of way to remember it, you will never remember it.
Yeah, because life moves so fast. Your
Yes.
your focus goes from one thing to another,
Oh
and I
yeah.
mean, you can't. Sometimes I like to judge a song on if I can remember it, but like sometimes your day's so hectic you don't remember anything. Even the most
Exactly.
memorable things. So yeah,
I'm surprised if I remember what I did last week. So
yeah. Pull out your voice memo. I know Carl. I mean, not Carl. I'm sorry. Tom Curtis is a big proponent of iPhone voice memo and writing the song that way. But yeah, I mean,
mhm.
I'll even like open up notes on my phone to pull if I got lyrics that I just thought of real quick. Oh crap, I want to write that down. So I'll just
Yeah.
just have a little notebook. I always had a little notebook growing up. Now it's not as easy to carry around like a
Yeah.
paper book, but like having it, you always have your phone on you. So
Exactly. All right, so I think I'm going to get one more song in here, and then we'll probably get to that segment here.
nice.
So I'm going to play a song that I don't normally play too many times, but this is actually, since we are playing songs that are like, older songs for us, I'm going to play. I usually like to say this is the second song that I wrote. Well, first song that I wrote, but it wasn't the first song that I recorded.
Gotcha.
So, and many people have taken this and had many terminologies and like interpretations of what the lyrics may think, and a lot of, and I still do a lot of the same like things. Like I'm always like writing about relationships in a good way. Usually, I don't usually have too many bad stories about relationships,
Mm.
but so with the lyrics with these, it can be taken as either somebody in a relationship or you're talking to somebody you lost and hoping that they're still watching down on you and they're proud of you in a way. So, yeah, so this song is called Remember. And this was actually re recorded on my reality EP that you guys can check out on Spotify, iTunes, and right from my official website, spokenlikemusic.com. So, and this was re-recorded and made into like a bigger band setting. So I was really happy the way this turned out. What do you say we come back home and start all over. 'Cause it seems like yesterday we had it all figured out, and now you're gone and you're not coming back. Days have passed and months have gone by since the first time I seen your face. I never thought a love like this could fade. The summer breeze and the memories of us together were bittersweet. I never thought that this is how things could be. That was then, this is now, and I can see that we're going down. We're going down, so please remember me for the man that I've become. I know we've gone our separate ways, and things were left unsaid. Since now you've gone away and left me in misery, I know there's not much left to say, but trust me, you're not alone. You're not alone now. The pictures I kept were just not enough to keep my mind at ease through these times of desperate needs. I need you now more than ever, 'cause I can't go on like this forever. But that was then, this is now, and I can see that we're going down. We're going down, so please remember me for the man that I've become. I know there's not much left to say, and things were left unsaid. Since now you've gone away and left me in misery, I know there's not much left to say, but trust me, you're not alone. You're not alone now. Little solo part. The things I do to see you smile again, I give my everything, and I give my all. Please remember me for the man that I've become. No, there's not much left to say, things were left unsaid. Since now you've gone away and left me in misery, I know there's not much left to say. Trust me, you're not alone. You're not alone now. There you go.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I always hold that one very close because like when I was saying last night that I never thought of myself as like a solo artist until, you know, I guess I started writing that song and like my second song. I'm like, I can actually really do this. You know, that I actually thought I wasn't, because I never really wrote too much in original scenes in my other bands. I had my, you know, oh, I wrote that riff or did that lyric, but I never
Sure.
wrote a full song by myself until actually in one of my the heavier band, I actually wrote a full song. So I guess that's like the one of the first times I wrote like a full song, but actually composing one where it's like myself, me, myself, and I. So a lot of these songs, I hold every song that I write dear to my heart. But just like especially I'm sure like you have certain songs you're like, yeah, I just either love playing that or that's like a song that it's either my first one or just the way I wrote that or the lyrics definitely
Sure.
holds something to you.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, my album only has 5 songs on there. I've asked everybody that I've encountered, what's your favorite one, and there hasn't really been a definitive answer. But yeah, it's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah, my
Yeah.
first song that I wrote, I used to take English at Pencrest High School. Teacher was Jim Zervano. Shout out to Jim, and he would let me write. He would let me write songs instead of book reports. We would read a book. And the first book we read was The Things They Carried, and I wrote a song called Live a While. And that was one of the first songs that I wrote. And yeah, I did. We read 4 books that year. I wrote 4 songs, and that was the beginning of my songwriting career. I even wrote some poetry. I think it didn't get published, but we were submitting it to the Pencrest annual poetry book that they put together. Yeah, so that was the beginning of my, about when I was 15, 16 years old, taking an English class at Pencrest. That's kind of where I got my songwriting start for sure.
Very, very nice. Also, I want to we have a couple people in the chat. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Very nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in tonight to Table Talk. Hey, Mom, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Mama Irvin in the house.
Nice. Yeah, I think my mom might have shared the video on Facebook. Proud mama over there. Proud mom moment.
Awesome. Proud moms over here.
Yeah, man.
So, this is something I guess a little new that I might start adding to near the end of the show here, like little segments of something that we can discuss. And my buddies were talking about this earlier, and it really stumped us that and it had a hard time. It's basically one of those memes that you see that like, okay, you have 4 choices. You have 4 choices, and one of them must go.
Okay.
So it was on food. So the 4 choices were burgers, pizza, seafood, and wings.
Oh, it's easy. Seafood, because I'm allergic to shellfish, and I don't really eat seafood.
There you go.
So
okay.
yeah, I'm Italian. Obviously, by my last name, you can kind of tell
Right.
I'm not Irish, and I'm full boat. Full blooded. So 7 fishes are the New Year, Christmas Eve. I'm sorry, that's the Christmas Eve. They
Christmas Eve, yeah.
7 different fishes. It symbolizes something. I don't know. I'm never in the house because I'm allergic to shellfish, and I get very sick if I stay in the house when my family's cooking.
Probably not a good thing. Yeah, I didn't really start doing the 7 fishes until actually my wife introduced, because my mom's side is where I get my Italian from, but
Right.
we never really did the 7 fishes, or at least we did like a small portion of it.
Sure.
But when I started going to my wife's house and hanging out with them on the Christmas Eves and stuff, they would start doing the 7 fishes, and they like, especially when you go to Italian family, you go there with an appetite, and you don't go full. You're gonna have a meal. So
yeah.
I can't
just eat a little, like your Italian grandmother would say.
Oh yeah. Here, have a little, and then they bring
full,
you a big
Nana.
bowl of pasta. So
Yeah.
there's always good times, and it just especially with everything that's going on, and everybody's not able to see family as much as they want and whenever they want. But hopefully, in the days coming, we will be able to, couple months down the road. Hopefully, the holidays won't be too much of a ruined thing. But going off of that, what I was asking, I didn't think it was going to be that quick of a discussion. But yeah, I mean, that is a good thing. You probably don't want to be having seafood if you have if you have an allergy to them. But I was saying, I love seafood. I mean, I love all 4 of them. But I definitely think for me, pizza is definitely staying, because pizza is king for me. Okay. I can eat pizza all day, every day.
Yeah, everybody loves pizza.
It really started coming down to, like, if I was thinking longevity, if I had to have these 4 foods for the rest of my life, which one would I probably get sick of in the shortest amount of time, or at least I can probably live without? And I felt if I really had to give away something, it probably would have been seafood, because you think you can have pizza, you can have burgers and wings, but I feel after a while, like having crab legs and shrimp and everything, like, for long. I probably feel it would give it a little bit boring, and but then on the other side, I was thinking, I could probably get away with, like, exiling out wings, because you have your burger, so you have your meat there,
Hmm.
so you essentially have two meats. So it's, which one would you prefer more? And I can definitely, go for a good, burger here and there. And I think
Yeah.
I've had more burgers during this quarantine than I've had in the last couple of years. So,
Oh yeah, big. I'm a big cheeseburger guy myself. A little bacon cheeseburger. Yeah.
yeah, I think I've had too many baconators to be enough suitable for one. So it's one of those times where you have it, and then after it's like, why did I do that? Why did I give in? But they
So
just
good
keep
though. Yeah. Yeah, I love
like,
I
what?
love cooking's like another one of my things that I work on. I mean, like
I
music's a
saw the
big part.
video.
Yeah, music's a big part of my life. Cars are another thing. Like music and cars, my car experience is about as long as my music experience. Picked them
Yeah.
both up when I was 3 years old. But cooking. I mean, my coming from an Italian family, my dad was a big cook, always cooking. So yeah, I learned to cook. From watching him, and he watched like Paul Prudhomme and Emeril Lagasse and
Yeah.
Frugal Gourmet, and had tons of cookbooks. And it's like a science experiment. And it's fun. You get to enjoy what you make, or sometimes not enjoy it, depending on how it turned out or not. But
Yeah, I saw that video you sent me after we went off air, the macaroni and cheese video, and I watched it this morning. I'm like, wow, I can really go for some mac and cheese right now.
yeah, that's what everybody said there. Everybody's like, well, now I want to make mac and cheese, Frank. So I guess it
Yeah,
worked.
because
Scandal made that video about him making a vegan breakfast sandwich. So I was like, okay, let me do mac and cheese, because that's a topic that I think everybody can get into. And
yeah,
yeah, I don't
I
really
mean,
make those videos, but it was, you're not doing anything. It was fun. It took me like 2 hours of production and 2 hours of editing time. So
right.
we'll probably premiere it Friday night on Delco After Dark. So tune in
Yeah, make sure you guys.
DelcoAfterDark.com.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure you guys tune into that. I had fun with you guys last night, and I don't do too many interviews, podcasts, but when I am able to get on and have a couple laughs, and knowing that it's not too not that it wasn't professional, but just being able to go off the cuff and just have some open conversations. It was cool. We had good conversations, good laughs. So again, make sure you guys go check that out, and give if you guys are watching from the Delco area, make sure to give Delco After Dark a like, and check them out on the Delco Quarantine Open Mic. Shout out to John and Tara and everybody on the Delco Quarantine Open Mic page there.
Yeah, man, peace and love. Those guys are great. Yeah, doing a lot of work
Oh yeah.
to keep that page running. And yeah, it's a shame that page kind of trailed off. Summer and the warm weather. But you never know. Could kick back up. You never know what's going to happen in the future here. All the
Yeah.
unpredictability. So.
And do you guys I'm sure, if not, have you guys discussed, like, is this like a long-term thing you guys feel you're going to do, or is it just like for quarantine purposes, and like, yeah, we'll just go our separate ways, or depending on what the reaction? I think you guys have been getting a pretty decent reaction with
We
everything.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a following. We've only
Yeah.
been doing it for a little bit of time. I actually am technically filling in for the creator, Patty McCann,
Uh-huh.
who was the original, creator of the show with Carl, and then they brought in Mike. But yeah, we've been having fun. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. Yeah, we have a little bit of a following. It's like all the things that we're doing over quarantine. It's all these little science experiments, and yeah, we're just picking up, learning new skills. That's one of the many new skills that I picked up over quarantine.
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially with everything going on, quarantine has definitely brought out some good and some bad, but on sticking to the good, the better parts of it, I think, especially on a music level,
Yeah,
it's definitely, I think this is going to bring out a lot of good music for people. I think once, we're able to go back to playing shows regularly, people are able to go back to concerts, it's going to be a hell of a time, because people are going to want that, place to go to see music
yeah.
again, and just be able to have that outlet, because music for certain people is just not just going to a show and listening to a band. Like, there's people out there that they live to go to these shows, because once those doors are closed, that's their moment to just like shut out everything from the world and just focus on seeing that band live. And there's people that we have people around that just worship certain people for fan sake, and you have your super fans, you have your fans, but like
Yeah.
it's just everybody has a different interpretation of what music means to them, and I think that's awesome. And music hits people in so many different ways, and especially for musicians like you and me, we're glad that even though we can't physically be in front of people right now, that we thankfully we have the internet where we can live stream and
Yeah.
do things like this where we
All
can
these
still
different
give
mediums
that.
of content. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. There is a lot of music being put out over quarantine. Whether or not it's good, are we going to really want to go back, 5, 10 years from now and listen to a time that was like panic and a bunch of
Yeah.
uncertainty and just not
Hmm.
really the most like when I want to listen to music, I like to go back to the year 1994 when I was 8 years old and I was listening to a lot of good music that was out.
Yeah.
And life was good when I was 8. I was they voted me Mr. Media 1994. I was riding down the middle of State Street, Media, Pennsylvania, my hometown, with Mrs. Media in a horse-drawn carriage. Life was good at the
There
time.
you
But
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of I've been listening to some of the quarantine releases, and there's some good stuff. There's some stuff where it's like but there's a lot of stuff where it's like I don't know if I'm going to listen to a song that's like quarantine repeated over and over again with a nice beat. It's like I don't.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I feel a lot of people are gonna write a lot of things about the quarantine and just being sheltered, but like, there's got to be those people that okay, there's gonna be so many songs about that, so you have to do something that's outside of that box. That you're not just gonna start a trend of like, okay, this is a quarantine song, this is a quarantine song, this
For
is about
sure.
COVID-19, but it, and that's music, man. You can music has no limits. You can literally write about anything and everything.
For sure. Yeah, man.
It could be controversial. It can be something funny. It has no end. So
It's a beautiful thing.
it is. But I'm going to get this thing wrapped up. Frank, thank you so much for being our special guest tonight on
My
Table
pleasure,
Talk.
Anthony. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Hope
We'll have to
to
have you
do this
back on
again soon.
Delco After Dark on another episode, maybe hopefully before you have your newborn,
Absolutely. I think we'll definitely have to get that scheduled because, knowing, hey, this time next month, we'll definitely be thinking, hey, he's going to be here any day. So we'll definitely have to schedule that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to talk.
Yeah, definitely.
And
For sure.
if anybody is interested in being a special guest, feel free to message me on the Spoken Life Facebook page directly, or you can just personally message me if you know my Facebook. So you can, add me as a friend, or if you're on any of the other social networks. So we're broadcasting tonight. We've been broadcasting from Facebook on my music page, on the Spoken Life fan page. And if you guys want to join that, just you can search in Facebook, do Spoken Life fan page. And it's a little community on Facebook that we're having. And we've been broadcasting tonight on Periscope and Twitch. So make sure you guys give me a follow there at Spoken Life Music. And make sure you guys are also following Frank on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at those handles. And you can also check out his official website at frankbisciotti.com.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
again, my friend. So you guys have been watching Table Talk, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Have a great night, guys.